For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you. But if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the Heady Postgame Show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome in everybody to the Halos in the Infield postgame show. I'm barely getting my voice back. It's been 2 days off. I really appreciate Rob filling in the other day. He did an excellent job. I hope you guys treated him right. I was able to sit in a little bit for it as I was recouping, man. I got hit hard with a strep throat, so it is what it is. But man, what a weekend for it to happen, because I would have loved to come on here very happy about a 2 out of 3 Rally Chris special against the Blue Jays and a good team. But, we knew we were in trouble going into this game versus the Toronto Blue Jays. They were red hot, and, it was going to be an uphill battle. But the thing that makes you most frustrating out of everything, that the Angels could have won this series, a bounce here, a bounce there, a hit here, a hit there, a smarter decision from coaching staff, a little bit of small ball, and a little bit of, better pitching and relief. And that's not saying we needed all that to happen at once. I'm talking about one of those scenarios to happen in each of the games, and this series is completely different. And we're talking about a team here in the Angels that is 34 wins and 13 losses when scoring 4 runs or more in a baseball game this year. So we're not talking about past teams. We're not talking about, what could have been. But this team with the current squad that we have, no Mancada, no Christian Moore, no Kyron Paris playing, a bunch of guys who are struggling still in the lineup. If this team scores 4 runs, they usually get the job done. And the bullpen's been pretty special this year. The pitching rotation has been what I've said over and over, the bend but don't break pitching staff. And again, you can't fault this pitching staff as much as we want to yell at Zephyr John and shit like that and what happened with Bachman. And we'll touch on that because I wasn't here the last 2 days. But you look at the overall series and you gave up 4 runs in game 1, 4 runs in game 2, and then you allowed 3 today. So you literally allowed just 11 runs in 3 games to a team, Toronto, which for the most part this year, their hitting has been averaging between 5 and 6 runs a game. And when they've been red hot at times this season, they've scored 8 runs or more. They've been one of the hottest teams and one of the highest scoring teams. And to lose, but after shutting them down essentially and getting exactly what you want from your pitching staff. And again, anything can happen. The previous 2 games, they allowed things to happen in that 10th inning because you got that 10th inning ghost runner rule, which I hate still. A lot of us hate on the network. And it's one of those things where it allows a game to end really fast, and all it takes is an error or a well-placed hit, and the game is over like that. And especially if you don't score in 2 innings, and you know how frustrating that was. And, I'm glad I didn't have my voice the last couple of days, because you already blow it in the first inning of extra innings by not scoring, allowing Toronto to take advantage in the 10th inning. You do it 2 games in a row, and you can't score in either inning. It's so goddamn frustrating because, again, this team can't, I've said it over and over, but it's so frustrating to see that this team isn't the most talented Angels team by far, but it's been the most talented team over the last 4 or 5 years. And if they just tighten up the screws a little bit they can fix this team, and this team can get better. I mean, we've seen it with Joe Adele. He tightened up the screws. All of a sudden, he's hitting the ball. He's more patient in the box. He's working walks, getting hits, driving in runs. But then you see the same stupid mistakes by Mike Nelson Trout, the same stupid swings by Taylor Blake Ward, even though Blake's not his middle name, Taylor Ward. And then you see the same mistakes from Zach Neto, swinging at pitches outside. And then the opportunities there to not understand that, okay, when you get into a situation with runners in scoring position, the pitcher's not going to pitch out of the stretch. That's number one. Number two, I mean, he's not going to pitch from the windup, I should say. He's going to pitch from the stretch. That's number one. Number two, he's going to pitch differently because he's got traffic on the bases, which means you need to adjust to him. Somewhere in the writings, the email, the paperwork, the video, the pigeon carrying the message, our players have not been told, or they don't understand that that's what happens when you get a pitcher out of his windup and you put traffic on the bases. Yeah, solo home runs and doubles to the gap are easier when the pitcher is going through a full windup, right? Because the pitcher's not worried about looking at the base runners. He's only attraction is you. But then when he gets a runner on base, you've got to think psychologically, okay, is that guy going to take off? I have to make it faster to the plate. I got to throw it faster. I'm going to not give him something to hit. I'm going to give him something down and away, down and inside to jam him, to freaking get him to hit into a ground ball, to make him pop up. There's all these things that start going through the pitcher's head. So if he's thinking of ways to then play chess versus you and get you out, that means you need to adjust and try to fight back. And not to have Logan O'Hoppe at bats, where you load the bases after making Gossman pitch. And what do? The first fucking pitch you swing at and ground out weakly and wimply and end the inning. That is not productive. Now, a lot of people say, I don't like the fact that it's productive outs. There's no such thing as a productive out. Bullshit. You're the same stupid-ass moron that says StatCast is a real thing. You're the same stupid-ass moron that values exit velocity over straight hitting. And that's why this franchise is never going to go anywhere. That's why we're always being reeled in by a win here or win there. Because in the end, right when you think that this team has made the necessary adjustments to be better, to be more competitive, they go and show you what they really are. And what they really are is this series. Not quite there. And not willing to bend and not willing to change things. They're just not there. Until we get a coaching staff, until we get an organizational push up the ass to do whatever we want to do, and then let the coaching staff coach and have a coaching staff in there that says, okay, we're going to get a healthy mixture of small ball. We're going to get a healthy mixture of power, and we're going to put this thing together. And no, Mike Nelson Trout, you're not allowed to do that. And yes, if we're going to have batting practice, your diva ass better be on the fucking field with everybody else. No more of this, oh, Mike Trout doesn't do batting practice with the rest of the squad. No, get your ass out there. Get your overpaid ass out on the field with everybody else. And you know what? Run a lap first. Until we get some sort of discipline like that, we're going to be the same stupid, shitty hitters. Solaire's going to be swinging out of his shoes. O'Hoppe's going to be undisciplined and calling a bad game. You're going to have Zach Neto. Sometimes he's really good. Sometimes he's really bad at sliders and split fingers on the outside corner. He fishes too much, right? And then Taylor Ward's like, oh, that pitch is too good of a pitch. It's right down the middle. I forbid myself to swing at that. If it's down and away, oh, you best believe I'm trying to power it to right field. So stupid. You could see the holes, the miscues, the issues with the hitting. And I'll go down to my dying day about this year's 2025 season and saying that it's the fucking hitter's fault, the reason why we're where we're at. See, things like Bachman happen, right? Where he throws 10 feet above the first baseman, throws it into right field. How many errors have you seen from this Angels team compared to previous seasons? Not too many this year. Not too many, okay? So things like that happen when same thing in football. When they bitch and moan about the referees, it's like, well, you're in a close football game. If you allow the refs to change the game, then that's on you. You should have took care of business in the previous 3 quarters and not leave it in the refs' hands. Well, it's the same thing in extra innings. If you haven't taken care of business and you're leaving a shit ton of guys on base, well, then that's up to you. When you make an error like that, that's not completely on the team. That's not on the pitcher. It's on the fucking team. The team couldn't get the right kind of run support. And again, I'll bring it up. 34 wins, 13 losses when scoring 4 fucking runs. That should be the goal on the whiteboard before you hit the field. We got to get 4 runs today, baby. 4 runs. Pitchers, do your shit. Let's get you 4 runs. Let's play solid defense. Hey, let's go. Do that little circle thing before you get on the field and go. That's what you got to do. I mean, it's not rocket science. This hasn't just happened in 2 games. You have a sample size of 47 games out of the amount of games that we played to where you're pretty much golden. You're in a really good shape if you score 4 runs. But you can't do it because you refuse to do the things that'll help you. Again, I know guys will have good pitching outings. I know bullpen. I know the other team is just as capable of watching video, doing their scouting reports, maintaining their players, right? Coaching, the whole 9, right? I'm not taking away these games from the opponents that beat us. Not one iota. The only thing I'm saying is that you have put yourself in game after game. I've watched every single pitch of this game, of this team, even when sometimes I can't make it from work and I'm on my way home. I'm listening to the game. I come home and watch the replay. And I'm able to see, okay, where did we go wrong? Where did we go good? If I'm doing it as a fucking fan and I could see, okay, the other team's adjusting here and here, if we just make an adjustment right here and there, this team could be much better. But it's the little things, it's the attention to detail, it's the want to be better that I think is lacking from this team. A lot of people you point to the coaching. I think it's a lot to do with the players. And I will say this too. When it comes down to this team, I believe that they take the heart of their leader. And we all know Mike Trout's not the leader. I believe that for some reason, some of these guys think Taylor Ward's the leader. I could see it because I see certain guys that can hustle but choose not to. Who hustles? Who can hustle and choose not to? Taylor Ward. I could see lackadaisical defense in the outfield because, well, Taylor Ward has lackadaisical defense in the outfield. Doesn't charge balls, doesn't make dives, doesn't try to go over the wall. There's, useless throws into the wrong position instead of holding runners to at second base like he did today. Sometimes he throws to third, allows the base runner or the hitter to go from first to second, take an easy base. I think they've taken on a lot of his traits, the swing easy, not really giving a shit. I think amongst everything, this team, and I was talking back and forth with a couple people on Instagram during the game, and they're saying, this team's got this hole, this team's got that hole. And I said, you know what? I think a lot of it comes down to discipline. I think this team has enough talent to be good. You showed that you could play well with Toronto. You showed that you could be that football team that's right there, but lets the referees dictate the end of the game. I don't want to hear about guys getting called out on 3rd strikes in the 9th inning of a tie game, especially one that's under 4 runs. The pitching has done its job. And a lot of you and myself at times have hated certain starts by certain pitchers on this team or certain performances like Zephyr John and others that have sucked at certain times. That's going to happen. But you know what? We're complaining. We have certain games that we could point to and say, well, he sucked in this particular game. Well, he sucked in that particular game. Well, maybe Anderson was a little bit bad in this game, and that's why we lost. You know why we're able to specifically hone in on certain games? Because there hasn't been that much of a sample size of the pitching staff in general to show us that, hey, they all out suck. It hasn't been like last year, the year before, or the year before that, where we're screaming for a starter, not going to get one. We're always playing up in the trade deadline. We're going to get a starter. We got to trade for a starter. That's just not going to happen. This organization doesn't give a flying fuck about a starting pitcher. They don't. So we're stuck with what we got. And for some reason, even Kowanowitz has had his bright, shining moments this year, and this team has kept us. The rotation has not been the problem. A lot of you point to 5 ERA here, a 5 ERA there, but in the win-loss record, none of that matters. Go back, and I challenge you to click on the Angels logo and look at their full schedule and look at how many games they lost by 1 run or less and how many times the Angels offense scored 4 or scored 3 runs or less. And the bulk of those games they have lost. And I'll give you a good example. So you're 43 and 46. That's a total of 89 games, right? 47 of those games, you're 34 and 13. So out of that 34 and 13, you are 9 and 33. 9 and 33 when scoring 3 runs or less. And again, it's not like you're getting blown out 15-3. It's not like you're getting blown out 7-2 or 7-1. A lot of these games are right fucking there for the taking. Right there for the taking. And this entire series, as red hot as Toronto was, you had them right where you wanted them. You shut them down. All you needed was a hit here, a hit there, and this whole thing changes. But you're getting shitty play from Soler, from Taylor Ward. But Taylor Ward had 3 hits, but he's not getting them when you need them. When you got runners in scoring position, where the hell is he? What about Mike Trout? Okay, and before this season, I am begging to the baseball gods, please make this guy good again. Please make him healthy again. Please have him break the narrative that he himself has set up. Can we please have him start to hit? Can he please get a clutch hit here or there? Maybe just one walk-off so we could show that all season. Because remember Shohei Ohtani's first walk-off with the Angels? Remember how long they showed it? It happened sometime in like April of like 2022 or 2021. And they showed that highlight at Angel Stadium all fucking year. And on Bally's all fucking year, right? That's what would happen with Mike Trout. And that way we remember, hey, man, this guy came through in that game, right? Just give us one. But I have gone to just about every Angels home game. I have watched every game in general, home or road. And I have yet to see that fucker come up clutch. And it sucks because I love the guy. I don't know how many times I have to say he is one of my favorite Angels of all time. But dude can't come through. And dude gets fooled by the same pitches every time. Every time. And you're baffled on how he could stand there in a clutch situation and let 1 or 2 go right down the middle, foul one off to the right side, and then proceed to swing at one way outside. It's a recipe. It's a recipe that the other pitchers and the other teams look at it and say, hey, you know what? That is how you get him out. And you know what? He has never looked at it and say, you know what? I think I'm going to try to adjust on how they're pitching to me. No, it's the same approach. Same approach. And the fact that he's gotten older, he's still too bulky, I believe. He's still got to trim down. He lost some weight. He needs to lose more weight. He needs to change his batting stance. And don't even get me started on Logan O'Hoppe, a guy who I thought and wanted to be the future of this team. I wanted this dude to be so good because the Angels in my lifetime, outside of Benji Molina, Mike Napoli, who we shouldn't have traded, and I don't know, maybe Maldonado in the beginning. I've never sold on that guy. But, and Wayback Machine, Lance Parrish, when my dad used to watch him, the Angels really don't have a catcher. Okay, so I'm really thinking, man, we got to steal from Philly. This guy looks good. He's a great fan. You know, he's great with the fans, great with the kids, good on the field, starting to get that ascension. And then all of a sudden he fell into it, man. He fell into it, and he can't hit a goddamn slider. He doesn't look for anything else. If it's right there, he's swinging over it because he's got the goddamn uppercut swing. And the uppercut swing is killing him. It is absolutely killing him, man. And I just wish that this team would grow some cojones and take some accountability, because I want to hear, hey, the Angels, after a frustrating road trip, came home and took extra batting practice on their day off. Because I remember the days of old when they would do that with Mike Scioscia. I remember the days of old with Marcel Latchman and Terry Collins. Things of that nature are dead and gone because StatCast fucking nerds have taken this league over, and the league is also empowered by the players and that stupid union who's going to force this game into a strike in 2027. Mark my fucking words. Because that's what's going to happen. And they've given too much empowerment to the players. Again, I used to go to games in batting practice, and when someone would piss off one of the coaches, Your ass should run a lap, and they're running laps. It didn't matter if you were a reliever, a starter, a bench guy. You ran around the fucking warning track all the way around. I don't see anybody running anymore. Everybody's goddamn lazy. They're getting helped to stretch. They're not stretching on their own. They're having personal trainers helping them to move their thighs in different ways. Oh, I mean, these players might as well wear fucking diapers. But but when it comes down to it, and what I get so frustrated is I wouldn't be harping on this like a Yankee fan. I saw a video the other night, and the Yankee fan, he was a former actor. I forget his name, but he was at the stands, and they had lost their sixth straight, and it was in Toronto. And this guy's like, fucking bullshit. Nobody's taking accountability. It's bullshit. The fucking team is embarrassing. Oh, no, sir. No, sir. You're a Yankee fan, and you think you're a Yankee fan since Babe Ruth just because you were born in fucking the Bronx. But you're a Yankee fan. You have higher expectations. Try being an Angel fan, sir. Try being an Angel fan who can't get over 500. And we keep getting cock teased every time we're right fucking there. Oh, and don't bitch and moan, Yankee fan. You can just go out and buy whoever you want and get whoever you want. Hell, the league encourages it to you guys and the Dodgers. They're just like, come on, go. Players Union, same thing. Don't go there. Don't go to Ohio. Don't go to Kansas City. Don't go to San Francisco. No, go to the Yankees and Dodgers. Let's just load them up. So don't bitch and moan. If anyone's got a right to bitch, it's Angel fans. Because you're talking the longest streak in professional sports, at least in baseball, I should say, of not reaching the postseason. Because it's going to be up to 10 this year. 2014 was the last time we went. 2015, we fell a couple games short. So if anyone's got a reason to bitch, it's us. And I'm going to lead the bitching. I don't care if people like it or they don't. I'm serious. I'm tired of losing. When it's right there for the taking. And then again, I'm not asking for the world, man. I asked for an 81-81 prediction this season. I thought, man, 81-81, I'm good with that. 500, perfect. Boom, right? You can't get above that, dude. Can't get above that. And it sucks because we have the talent to win despite our shitty owner. We have the talent to at least flirt with the postseason. And we talked about this. Rob talked about that. And I was hoping, man, this team could just get a little bit better. A little bit better. But no. I like Yankee fans says, oh, poor you. I like that. User says, Kyle Raleigh is your daddy. What has he done against the Angels? Who cares? Who cares? Seattle, what have they done? Nothing. And you got our former general manager Dipoto. So they about to call up Rada. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about them calling up Rada. I mean, if you're gonna go straight on youth movement, let's wait till we're freaking done. Let's wait till we're out of there. I mean, because again, all I know is as far as Seattle's concerned, they're right there as far as taking the wild card spot. And again, I'm not expecting a wild card spot from this team. It would just be fun to be around Seattle or close to Seattle or whoever's in that last spot come August and September. It would be fun because, again, now you're sitting 4 games out of the wild card. And a lot of people were saying, what are the Angels going to do? Because obviously, Baltimore's 7 out. Unless Baltimore, Ohio, or Kansas City go on a run, we're ahead of them. We're only 4 out. We're 4 out now. Minnesota's now 4 out. Texas is 3 out. We play them next. Boston has moved back into the thick of things. They were supposed to sell. They're likely going to stay around. If the Angels fall to that 7 or 8 threshold, because for me, I always look at it this way. If you're 5 games or more out of, if you're 5 games out of the wild card or the division, right? I say it's time to hang it up. It's time to look for next year, especially if you're not trending in the right direction. You got, if you're not trending in the right direction, you're not showing any moving, improvement, then it's time to throw in the towel. And like I've said before, dude, you could flip some of these veterans to winners, and you could also flip some of the veterans to some losers. Like a Kelly Jansen, you're not going to send him to the Pirates. You'd have to send him to a contender to get something back. Likely get an outfielder. Taylor Ward, another year of control. Send him out. Again, I've seen enough of this douchebag. I don't need to see him no more. And you could actually get a couple players because people are going to ignore the fact that he strikes out, that he doesn't walk, and they're going to look at the home runs and the RBIs, and they're going to be in love with that. StatCast will be like, oh my God, launch angle, and the StatCast geeks in those franchises will encourage the GM to pull the trigger. See, when I played and watching baseball, it's disgusted me now to see where the game's at because they don't value the walk, they don't value the hit, they don't value small ball, and it sucks. It takes away from the game. And until an organization can come back again, like we've seen this in football. In football, remember the thing was, the running back, you didn't have the running back, or you didn't have the quarterback, I should say. And I forget what they called that, but that was the big thing, right? And then all of a sudden now it's gone to a passing league, but now you're starting to see some teams are trying to reform things. It sort of goes in cycles in football. And in baseball, I'm hoping that this is a cycle. I'm hoping, just like in basketball, how it's all 3-pointers, it's boring, it's killed the game. At some point, they'll have to change that up, and they'll have to work it to where you have big man inside and not everyone shoots a three, because analytics has screwed up NBA that way too. And when it comes to baseball, I want them to get back to, hey, man, small ball can work. Utilize speed. Utilize the art of the bunt, because it is an art. And you could tell when they ask these guys to freaking bunt, like Neto the other day, he has no idea what he's fucking doing because they don't encourage it. They don't practice it. And again, I keep going over the same fact over and over and over. But when Mike Scioscia was in charge, news reports, again, if you would see them on the field, they would be working on bunts. You go there early to the game for batting practice. Guess what happens? Guys take 10 or 12 rips, right? And then one of the last times that they take a pitch from the batting pitch instructor, 1 or 2 times they lay down a bunt, or they do that before they start swinging. It was just a common thing to do. You work on your drag bunt, you work on your sacrifice bunt. There's 2 different kinds of bunts. And they just don't do it anymore. And in batting practice, when these guys were forced to do batting practice one right after another, the coach would be like, okay, and he'd give a signal to hit to right field. He'd give a signal, okay, try pulling it now. Now try to put it in center field to make sure you knew the trajectory of your bat. You weren't relying on bullshit StatCast. I feel that this team has ruined itself. Self-sabotage. Because had they stuck to the basics when everyone was changing, and everyone could afford to do that because they could afford to get the players. They could afford to do it because they were drafting. Again, you got to work with what is your strength, and they could get better. They really could. They could change the directory. They could change the narrative, but you got to want to do it. You got to want to change it, and you got to make it a philosophy. You have to do it. If you do not make the moves, the necessary changes, and you only change them for certain games and go right back to what got you in the L column, you will never learn. And I feel that's what the Angels do. The same stats I have been spitting at you for now 28 minutes. I know Ray Montgomery has, Ron Washington has, Johnny Washington, everybody else on that staff. Why aren't you not executing? Ego? I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, other teams can see. I mean, look, it doesn't take a rocket science to see when a team like Toronto was trending down. And we're talking about just over a month ago, Toronto was in 4th place. They have flipped the whole fucking season in just over a month because they decided no more. This shit's not working. And so instead of firing coaches, they changed the philosophy. They got better. They tightened up the screws. They realized, okay, this is where we're good at. This is where we're not good at. Let's focus on fixing this so that this looks much better. And we can improve here. That will help this improve. And they balanced it out. And guess what? You're sitting 14 games over 500 now in first place. Did they make roster moves? Did they make trades? Did they freaking fire people? No. They weren't Texas. Texas fired their freaking hitting coach, got Brett Boone in there. And what have they done? Nothing. Because it's the same philosophy. But Toronto was man enough to say, you know what? It's time for a change. We need to fix things. We need to do things right. And they didn't get into analytics to do it. They just went in-house and fixed it. Changed the culture. Now everyone smiles as they're wearing the Toronto Blue Jay jacket. Everyone's happy, high-fiving. They got the right lineups. They got the right pitching. They brought up the right relievers. They're good. They're good now. And it could have happened to this team too. You think about it. 3 games. You allow only 11 runs to one of the hottest teams in baseball. You should have at least won 1. Hell, you could have fucking swept. Instead, you scored 3 runs, 2 runs. And when does Mike Trout come up with a clutch hit? Oh, that's right. When nobody's on. And the pitcher is pitching from the windup, not having to worry about a base runner. I still don't understand how he was respected twice in this series and walked. I don't understand that whatsoever. If I'm a pitcher for an opposing team right now, I'm like, damn, I want to throw a fastball by him. I want to burn that future Hall of Famer. And he is, and I love him. I wish he was better. He's just not. Right now, he's a liability. And the fact that we keep putting him in that 3 spot just because of past accomplishments doesn't help this team. Again, that's where you change. When you realize, hey, this shit ain't working. Why is Ohapi batting 5th? He should be batting 8th. Why is Trout batting 3rd? He should be batting 6th. Why have we not given Adele his flowers and moved him into the 3 spot? Let's let him try it out. He's already improved. He's already got his game changed. Give him a little bit more pressure. Put him up towards the top. Let's see how he does. I mean, what's going to hurt it? But I wouldn't put Taylor Ward to protect him. Taylor Ward can't protect himself. So why are you going to put him 4th? Mix up the entire fucking lineup for all I care. Do something different, because then different is better than the norm, than the same. Because obviously you're running the same shit out there and getting the same shit results. You're not going to change. So again, what's really frustrating to everybody, and myself included, and I will say this out of personal frustration for this team and being a hardcore Angels fan, I'm not even putting Artie in this equation. I'm not even putting analytics in the equation, because in the end, the manager, coaching staff have to want to just have the balls to say, enough is enough. I'm calling it the way I see it. I'm going to make the changes. We're going to make this team better. I don't want to see losing. It's obvious what needs to change. Let's make the changes and let's do it. Until you get a staff that is willing to put their heart on their sleeve and do it. Just do it. Don't worry about the repercussions. If the team is winning, what is Perry going to do? Fire you? He ain't going to fire you if you're fucking winning. I mean, what's he going to do? In all actuality, if your coaching is that good and you're overdoing those StatCast nerds like Bruce Bochy was 2 years ago in Texas, those fools look like idiots. Those fools get fired. The nerds upstairs get fired, not you. You're winning. You're untouchable. You're Teflon. Winning solves everything. Everything. And I'm one of these people that if some people say, well, Trout's always got to be in the lineup. Really? Does he? If he's not going to help us get a W, I don't want him in the lineup. Until he can help us be a contributor, I'm more of the football mentality where it's, hey, next guy up. If the next guy is Chris Davis, or the next guy is freaking Kyron Paris, anybody, right? Nelson Rada were to come up and he's lighting it on fire, then let's roll with it, man. Let's roll with it until they can't do it no more. Like, same thing with Kyron Paris. If you would have fixed his uppercut swing, he'd probably still be here. He's more valuable than a lot of the players we have on the lineup as it is right now. He's more valuable than Soler. He plays really good defense. You could use him infield. You could use him outfield. He's super fast. So if he works a walk, he steals a base. He goes first to third. Wonderful guy. Great in the clubhouse. But he's got to fix that swing. As soon as he does, he shouldn't go anywhere else. He should never be sent down. But my point being is, you put the best in the field. I don't care if it has to be consistent or not. As long as it works for that particular night and you get the W, you do what you can to get that W, which means if the StatCast nerds say, hey, it's going to be all or nothing tonight. We want home run swings. We want this. We want that. You don't have to protect the plate, uppercut this. But fuck you. We're going to go with the way I see the game. So if the other team jumps out 2-0, which usually happens with our starters, and we need to scratch and claw and kick for a run, guess what? We're doing small ball. We're going to sacrifice. We're going to get one run at a time if we can. And if someone comes up with 2 outs and hits a 2-run dinger, well, then so be it. But we're not going to be shooting for the fences all the time, because shooting for the fences gets what? A strikeout. And what do we do best than any other team in the league? We strike out. We lead the league in strikeouts. So what does a strikeout do? It's not a productive out, doesn't move a guy over, doesn't sacrifice. Guess what it does? It wastes an out. So if you're striking out 10 or more times, which the Angels do on a nightly basis, you're cutting half of your at-bats away. You're throwing them away, because you don't know how to shorten up your swing. You don't know how to choke up on the bat. You don't know how to lay down a bunt or anything to mix things up, because you're what? You're wasting it out. You're striking out. Strikeout is the worst possible thing. Yet these StatCast idiots, fucking morons, especially the locked on guys, don't care about a strikeout. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And that's how you know a motherfucker has never played the game. That's how you know. Because when I played, if you came to the fucking bench smiling after a strikeout, you get hit upside your head. And not the type of hitting upside your head when you're a football player and you make a good play and they slap the back of your helmet. No, they're knocking your fucking helmet off and they're saying, get on the fucking bench, you idiot. Like, look better, man. You're making us look bad. You're making yourself look bad. That was a really good bat. No, it wasn't. I mean, I got shit talked to when I struck out. So it puts you in a better mindset because you're focused. You're like, I got to put this thing in play no matter what. If I fouled a couple off and I'm like, damn, 0-2. I can't strike out on 3 pitches. That's embarrassing. I got to see a few more pitches at least. So you get that mindset and you put that pressure on yourself. And some people say, oh, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing, putting pressure on oneself. Like, no, it's not. It's a good thing because it's preventing you and giving you the mindset of, I don't want to just let this one go down the middle. I don't want to just, I can't look bad. I got to see more pitches. I got to work. You're thinking team, unlike yourself. If you're up there like some of these guys do, I think they are very selfish, then you're not really caring about your team. If you want to put the ball in play, move the guy over and do the little things, that's winning baseball. That's why, like last year, I told a couple people, it's the same shit. When you watch baseball teams that make the wild card, and especially when the teams that come out of nowhere, like your Kansas, like look at the division last year, Kansas City, you had I think the Minnesota Twins made it, and Detroit Tigers, right? When teams like that make it, people are baffled because they're like, man, how did they make the postseason? I don't know half the guys on their team. I maybe know Witt Jr., maybe another player, I know this guy or know that guy, but I only know 1 or 2, like Byron Buxton, stuff like that, right? It's not the stars that get you there all the time, especially in baseball. It's not basketball where you just put 2 guys on the court and let them go. If the Angels were a basketball team, having Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, they would have won a final or 2 because that's how it is. That's all you need is 2 players. But when it's baseball, no, you can have the 2 best players in baseball at the time. But if you don't have a supporting cast, you don't have a pitching staff, you don't have a complete team, you ain't nothing. So, yeah, when a team sneaks up on you and they're a little ahead of schedule, or they're like Minnesota, a bunch of no-names, and they make the postseason, that's because they earned it, man. That's because they did the unselfish things as a team. They worked together as a team. You didn't have one guy hitting 47 homers and 150 RBIs. And nobody cared. How many of them made the All-Star game? Nobody cared. But you know what they did care about? Them making the postseason. Detroit, full of no-namers. Only the people that knew freaking fantasy baseball and Scooble and a couple of their pitchers. But for the most part, these guys were all drafted in-house. They were gotten from international signings, smart GM moves, and they put a coaching staff who, guess what? He's a freaking lifer in baseball too, and he knew how to do things. And guess what? He got that team to get the most out of them and get them to the postseason. Now Detroit, after a stepping stone year last year and getting an upset, now they look to improve on that. They have one of the best records in baseball. So it can happen. Change can happen. But you, got to believe, you got to work it together as a team. You got to play together as a team. You got to do the things that'll win. You can't be selfish, and good things will happen. And for the love of God, you cannot rely on analytics. And I'm hoping, like I said, that analytics fad goes away so fast because I'm sick and tired of it. I'm just yearning for a wild card spot. I know this is like one of the longest fucking rants I've ever done, but I'm pissed. And I'm, like I said before when I started the show, I'm glad I wasn't on yesterday or the day before because I had strep throat and I could barely talk. Rob did a good job. And I was blown away by another extra innings loss, which was a it was a copy and paste game from Friday. So it's unbelievable, man, how you can make the same mistakes over and over and over. I just want what's best for this team. And I want the fan base like yourself and myself to enjoy winning baseball, or at least enjoy a playoff game or two. That's all I want, man. I'm not looking like a Yankees fan, spoiled as fuck, and knowing that we're going to get whoever we want, like, the spoiled kid that gets Santa's toys on Christmas. And I'm not like already thinking postseason like the Dodgers in spring training. I just want to see competitive baseball. And I think we're already there seeing competitive baseball, but we're seeing stupid ass play at the same time, which if the stupid ass play wasn't there and they're losing straight up, I get it. But there's so many things that you can look at this team and say, okay, we're better than that team. We're better than Baltimore. We should have won at least half those games against Baltimore. Why did we lose 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh? Why did we lose 2 out of 3 to Miami? Why did we lose 2 out of 3 to Washington? Why did we get swept by Toronto? Why did we get swept by Houston at their lowest level? It's because we played down to the competition. We don't execute. And a lot of it comes down to the hitting, where, again, last thing I'll say about it is the pitching isn't perfect. It's not beautiful either, but it's a bend but don't break pitching staff, and it has worked for most of the season. If we could have just gotten more contributions from so-called stars, this team would be completely different. If Hoppy was hitting like he was in April, this team would be completely different, or May, I should say. He had a rough April, and then he had a disastrous June. But, man, it's so frustrating. This team takes a lot out of me, man. It takes a lot out of me because I really wanted this team to be much better than what they are right now. I'm so far in, and I got to catch up to a lot of the comments. TikTok's been going crazy. I'm seeing your comments as we go along over there on TikTok. I appreciate everybody over there. And, everyone chiming in right there. But again, you got to think about this game as if you compare us to the Toronto Blue Jays, there's not much separation. And that's us not with the most talent. Because, again, this team, the Angels can't afford to make an error because we don't have the talent to make up for it. They can't afford to have an injury or two like Mancada because we get stuck on, guys like Newman was supposed to be a savior on the depth chart, supposed to come off the bench and hit close to 300. That's not happened. And he's made several errors. So Carlos says we broke the 500 curse backwards. Yes, we did. Oh, man. Let me get into some of these comments because we lost, and I'm not going to play this song. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I'm not even going to do the awards because I'm so far behind. Grillmaster says spritz the clock. Not up for that either, my friend. Also, but I'll give you credit for it. Mario says how sweep it is. Oops, wrong side of it. Cue Lombardi. Yeah, I will do the Lombardi.
What the hell's going on out here?
Yeah, what's going on out there? That was a wrong one. The losing streak right there. Grillmaster says DFA, Ohapi. Mo says this team failed and failed again in this series. Montgomery made so many head-scratching choices. Again, yep, agreed. Ruben says we need small ball, man. I agree, Ruben. I wish this team would go back to small ball. I mean, the difference it would make with the speed that we have outside of Taylor Ward, outside of Mike Trout, I think this team could go far. But again, we refuse. Mario says, oh, no, we suck again.
Oh, no, we suck again.
Exactly. Also, let's see. Jesus says this team gets a big fat F plus. Grillmaster says this series was a test of our ability to hit a hot team, and they failed in flying colors. Season over. Sell the whole roster. Boycott the season. That's a way to look at it. James Malou says, could this be the start of the Angels' annual slide? It could be, because we come home for 6 games before the All-Star break against the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I was really hoping they could have got 2 out of 3 to possibly align themselves with being over 500 at the break. And that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I don't see them sweeping either team. Mario says also, hey, did you see the launch angle and Trout's home run? Yeah, that's what they were bragging about. I still don't have strong enough voice to do Gooby's voice. I shouldn't have been rambling this long, but I had to say something. Grillmaster's saying we're getting swept by the Rangers and Diamondbacks. Josh checks in with Packajo, Hoppy, and Dana, and see what you can get. So he's already given up on Dana as well. Artie Sucks says, are we really surprised the Angels people? It's been 10 years of this shit, and that's so freaking sad. Carlos says, let's take a ride in Honda. God, I hate when they do that. They don't even have the balls to talk about strategy during a pitching change or a mound visit. It's like, how do we sneak in some more ad money? Oh, here, I got it. Wayne, mention Honda or talk about Jack in the Box. Dan says Montgomery sucks as a manager. Soler hit a double and bounced the ball off the net. He stopped at first. Even the Jays said that was a double. That's right. Oh, my God, Dan. Thank you for reminding me. Did you notice in the 8th inning when he hit the ball and it went out and it looked like it was going to go foul, but it stayed fair, went off of the protective netting for the fans in foul ball? That's a ground rule double. You're 100% right, Dan. And Montgomery's just sit there like, What the fuck? Robert says Angels leave the bases loaded. Angels leave the bases loaded again and again. 12 men on base. Also, James Malou says, shit, here we go again. Yeah, and again, we played this a lot last year because they were doing the same stupid crap over and over. But
shit, here we go again.
Yep. Luke Johnson says, time to seriously start thinking about selling. We're pushing that way. We are pushing that way. Ant says, do you have ESPN? No, I don't have ESPN, but I was watching on the Angels broadcast. I refuse to watch any other. Well, I do watch other networks when they have Patrick O'Neill on there. He's the suckiest announcer of them all. But I have the Fire Stick. Vetter says the whole team is so frustrating. It's like they are digging my butt the whole digging my butt the whole game. That's disgusting. Sammy says can't blame Trout. I guess not. No all-star rosters. The all-star rosters are being announced right now on ESPN. Thank you, Ant. Why do they think Joe Adele is their future? Because of what he's doing right now, Bobby Boo. He's starting to really tear it up. And I think he's going to be the guy. If he finishes this year strong with 30 homers, 85 RBIs, about 260 to 270 average, I give him another shot next year. Obviously, he's on the payroll next year, arbitration year. But I give him a nice little number, and I could say midway through the season, if he starts as hot as he's playing right now, you think about extending him. You may give him like a 5-year, 140, something like that, and that would be fair. That would be a really nice contract for him. But we'll see. We'll see what they do, and he's got to perform. So he's got to keep it going. Because so far, I like what he's done. Bunt with the runners over in the 10th inning. Exactly, and they didn't do that 2 games in a row. Reddy says, I feel like Ohapi is trying to bat like a Trout, uppercut, swing everything. Yeah, and that's the thing that's killing him because he's swinging over pitches and hitting ground balls or striking out. Josh says, and way to go over slot for the prep catcher later in the draft. Luke Johnson also says 4 for 30 with runners in scoring position and 34 strikeouts in 3 games. Not going to win a lot of games with that kind of effort. Again, if you don't put the ball in play, you never know what could happen. And the Angels are really bad at not putting the ball in play. The Angels' grandma says this is so frustrating. To lose 3 one-run games in a row is tough. Exactly. It just leaves a terrible taste in your mouth. Offense is solely to blame. Fire Johnny Washington. I'm in agreement with that. The Archangel says we need wash back with baby oil. Daniel Burrito says technically 3 runs given up in every game. If it doesn't go to extras. Exactly. So the pitching staff did a lot better. Jonathan says, how about the Astros? Ruben says, is Mike Scioscia available? He has been available, and he will continue to be available because he will not bend over for analytics. And until he is given a team without analytics, I guarantee you he will not have a job. And he's a good one, and he should have a job. But, again, baseball wants analytics, and they're not going to hire a guy who's not willing to conform. The offense didn't come through in the series. Pitching did their job. Disappointing we couldn't take game 1. Q Lombardi.
What the hell's going on out here?
Exactly. Artie Suck says these bums want to go on early vacation. It shows. How about the Cancun reference, huh? Ready Rob says we should be way over 500, but we leave too many runners on scoring position. It's embarrassing, man, and it gets me mad. And it gets me mad, too, because, again, I can point to about 12 to 13 games, guys and gals, at least where the Angels should have won the game with a timely hit or, a sacrifice here and there. Eric says it's time to sell the pieces that we got and build a solid 26. Hopefully next year we will have a real manager who's not Coke addicted. There's a lot of young talent to enjoy the rest of the 25. That's true. David says this team can't score unless they hit homers. That's it. And that's embarrassing because they actually think that's a good thing. Mario says Rally Chris is not going to get his birthday wish. No, he's not. LV didn't cash his check, so he says we're so fucked. Ruben says, I remember back in 2002, I think they were in the lead in the first or third after a single, or they were always in the lead. Yes, they always would get hits, dude. And they didn't have a lot of guys with a ton of home runs. They had guys capable, but that wasn't their sole thing. Tony says this was a pathetic sweep. The Angels they left 12 men on base, struck out 14 times. We don't know how to hit when it's clutch. The Angels need to sell. This is not good. I hope I am wrong, but this could be the beginning of a bad losing streak. So many bases loaded chances, Tyler says. Also, LV says so many chances blowing the lead in this game. It was crazy. Eric Ward says also, I hope as fans we are not all pissed off. They're improved a bit, but there's still too many holes to fill right now. Just going to enjoy the ride. No way we're making the playoffs, and I've accepted that. I think we all should. I think if you're still holding on hope, I think it's fool's gold, and you're just going to hurt yourself like I did this weekend. I fell for it this weekend. I really felt that we were going to leave Toronto at least a game over 500. I really had my hopes up. I was honking my honk. I was getting the lube ready. I was good. But this team hurt me. They touched me in my no-no spot. I was very frustrated because I really wanted this team to at least look good coming home. And I was going to be there game 1, cheering them on against Texas. Hopefully we could beat Texas's ass because I can't stand them. And it would have been nice. But now it's like we got to start all over again. Who would you rather have, Trout at DH or Ohapi with a game on the line? Ohapi at this point. Strange says unload Jansen, Ward, and whoever the fuck else we can. This team management ain't going to cut it. Also, LV says every single game in this series we lost by 1 run. What the fuck? Glad I didn't deposit that check. And we should have left a game over 500, but once again left too many men in scoring position. Also, Hoppy start learning Chinese. Mario says, can we please trade these vets and now get some more young guys? Let's call it what it is, a rebuild. I don't think they will because they don't have the balls to. Billy says Taylor Ward lives with that bat on his shoulder. Laugh out loud. Needed this rant. Love it. I appreciate you, Billy. Really do. New one here to the page. Also, Taylor Ward for Henry Davis. Not bad. Play Darno. Blood Moon says this team is horse shit, 3 winnable games and all 3 L's. Yes, indeed. Strange says also might as well call up Cavadis since everyone likes striking out. Boy, that guy does strike out a lot too. Mario says, Todd, what's winning feel like? It's been so long I can't remember. Q Lombardi.
What the hell's going on out here?
Grillmaster also says, I guess this series winning is only for the birds. Good God. Reddy says, drop Trout down in the lineup and bring Adele up in the lineup. I'm 100% for that. Isaiah Lopez says, we're going to tank. We need to sell. Sad to say, Taylor, Renifo, Mancada, Travis Soler need to go, plus Jansen. Is trading Trout and getting young talent an option? No, it's not, Max. That would have been a move years ago, but it is not anywhere close, and that contract is an albatross. Artie says the worst part is no hope for the future with our shitty farm, and that's a problem. If we had guys like Grillmaster says, Cuero and others that we traded, we might be looking at something a little bit better. Bruce says Mickey Moniak hit his 13th home run today. He's slugging well over 500. His OPS is over 800. His average is 252. He has 6 triples. What did Campero do today? Wade Jr., how many triples for Trout? Here's the thing, Bruce. They fixed his swing in a way. He changed it up a little bit in Colorado, something that they would refuse to do here. Same thing they did with Brendan Marsh, and that's the reason why Brendan Marsh is a fringe all-star. J-Dog says, if we could just hit with runners in scoring position, we could have won this series. Absolutely. Tamir 20 says, what we're all thinking, swinging for the floor is the Angels hitting, and that's the sliders outside, pitches down in the dirt. It's pathetic. Brandon Drury is back. We just need to keep our composure. Boy, I am not looking forward to seeing Brandon Drury, man.
Come on, all right, everybody. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We've made a great effort so far. Let's just keep it up.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've come too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to just keep our composure.
Mike Trout clutch, LOL. Also, Bruce says, let's get rid of everyone, get Moniak back, and build a team around him. Tamir 20 says, I knew as soon as those two bozos, Stevens and Ohapi, tripped on each other and missed that play, the Blue Jays were going to take the lead. Yeah, that happened right away. Robert said, disagree with the pitching tech. When you face top-tier teams, you have to have legit starting pitching to be playoff bound. You need to match them step for step. Good pitching beats good hitting. True. But you also have to get contributions from your hitters. We've seen good pitching from these starters at times, and it doesn't matter if we can't score. I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think we're on that level to go top tier versus top tier. I think we need to figure out how to score consistent. Tony C says Matthew Lugo's on fire right now. They need to bring him up. Release Lamont Wade Jr. Also, I would like the Angels, but Trout is in the 5th hole and 3 hole. Move him from 5 to 3 or 3 to 5. Also, Ohapi is not the future for the Angels. Tyler says you can even tell when Wayne and Gooby are at a loss with his team. One of the innings, Halo struck out with the bases loaded to end the inning. The broadcast was dead silent. Yeah, because they know if they say something, it's super negative. Also, Craig says, I'm so disappointed. Leaving men on base hurts. Robert said, this is a playoff-bound Toronto Blue Jays team. You were not going to win out or score them in large margin. You need to execute offensively and defensively, especially when you have the lead. You need shutdown starts. Preach. Those things all together would have mounted to W's, not L's. Luke says, issue with our hitting is that we can't get on base. 25th in the league in on-base percentage and league in the league in strikeouts. It's painfully obvious as this team is the dumb dick coaching staff that can't fix it. And there you go. And that's the problem. If you're able to walk, if you're able to get guys on base, you can do things. It opens up doors for you. But if you're just striking out time in, time out, those are waste of outs. They're not productive outs. Never has anyone except a StatCast nerd who has never played baseball will tell you a strikeout doesn't matter. Dan says, you sound better. Did you gargle the tequila I suggested? No, I'm allergic to tequila, man. I do stupid things when I drink tequila. I did take a lot of Theraflu and some whiskey. Also, when do we get someone on base hits into a double play? That's insane. That's because you got to look. They're going to try to throw you pitches to make you hit into a double play. So you got to adjust to their pitching, and the Angels don't do that. They play right into it. It's sort of like if you tell a friend, hey, don't go over there, you're going to walk into that spider web, and they keep walking into it because they didn't adjust. And so it begins. Here comes the annual collapse. Mario says, Lance Parrish reference. What? That was an overgrown catcher behind the plate. Nobody was running him over. That's for damn sure. That dude was scary. Sorry. Bruce says, seriously, let's do a big time sell at the deadline. And thanks for making me laugh today through my tears. Well, I'm hoping you have a better day, Bruce. Sounds like you're going through something. We all go through some shit. We've had a couple people on here going through something. So, Bruce, keep your head up, my man. There will be better times, whether you're crying about the Angels or something serious. Robert says, just pitch us low and away and off the plate. We going to swing. J-Dog says, even the historically worst White Sox and Rockies have made the playoffs somewhat recently. There's not a more poorly run organization than the Angels. Yep, absolutely. And yet our media doesn't tell them nothing. I'd rather have a jury than Newman, Jerry says. That's debatable, but pretty close. Pooh says, will the Angels ever make the playoffs at this point? I don't know. I don't know. Saucy says, this was a backbreaker. What a devastating series. 4 losses in a row. Yeah, and you can't finish off good series, too. How many times have we seen this year where the Angels win the first 2 and then proceed to lose? The rest. It's pathetic. or losing the final game when you could keep the momentum going. And that's why this team has not gone on a prolonged winning streak. The offensive coordinator and hitting coach need to be fired. Exactly. Strange says Halo's playing like the Santa Ana River Bums. Saucy says one more loss that could have been a win. 12 left on base. I would hate for this team to trade off future pieces for a wild card spot, play on the road in the postseason and lose. Just sell and keep winning or keep building. Tim Laker and Johnny Washington need to go. Hold on a second here. I'm getting a message. I didn't see that. Hold on a second. She's asking me hike or she's asking for something else. Also, Tyler says, unless this team starts tearing through the series after series, I don't think anyone wants to battle for the last wild card spot to get their cheeks clapped. Also, Craig says, if the Rangers can lose today and we sweep the Mariners, start losing, we get a chance. So see, we're staying in that positive mindset. Josh says, Ward's bat speed is down. There's Shaunawell's. There was Shaunawell. And he's still swinging for the fences every pitch, which makes no goddamn sense. Tamir 20 says, Ward at least got on 4 times today. What did anyone else do? Well, you know what? There's mud on my face there too. He did get on base and he did work some walks, but other than that, the other 2 games in this series, not so much. And again, how does this team expect to make the postseason when you're minus 49 in run differential? Minus 49. Saucy says, can't wait for this lineup with Wade, Newman, Campero, Stevens, etc. That's going to be lots of fun in September. I'll be watching football by then. I'll be like, dude, come on now. I don't think Stevens is that bad. He's not really. Saucy at empty stadium. Let's see. Also, well, hold on a second. Jesus. If you call yourself a professional hitter, your ass better be able to lay down a bunt, hands down. That's what we all think, but that's not what they think. The series was similar to the Astros. The team just isn't as complete as the opponent. Josh also says they're about to announce the reserves. What Angels do you think made it? I'm really hoping Adele made it. I'm really hoping Ward didn't. And I'm pretty sure Jansen or Anderson or even Kikuchi, one of those 3 get in. But the long shot right now is Adele. Let's see. Also, we get dinner and we go for a couple hours. Okay. I had to make dinner plans. Rough week just a few days ago. I was ready to bathe in spritz, then 4 losses in a row. Frost says hitting and situational managing was horrible this series. On top of that, the announcers on Apple TV on Friday wouldn't shut the fuck up in Toronto. Absolutely. Jerry says trade Ward while you can get some help right now for him. Mario says, besides bashing our team coaches and ownership, do you feel the new rules in the past few years since Manfred took over destroying baseball? I feel that way in other sports too. I think some of them have, but I don't believe it's all on Manfred as far as the rules are concerned. I think it's more analytics that have destroyed the game, in my opinion. And it's done the same in basketball. And then that pencil neck geek, the worst alien looking motherfucker. I think he's the worst. I thought Manfred was bad as a commissioner. No, that idiot in the NBA is by far the worst and has ruined basketball. Who knows if it'll ever recover? I'm not coming back as a fan. Fuck basketball. They can have it. But I just want baseball to get back out of the analytics. I think this game will be, I think some of the pitch clock stuff, the mound visits, I like stuff like that. I don't like the ghost runner. I think you put the ghost runner on in the 12th inning. If you can't score in the 10th and the 11th, if you don't want 18 inning, 19 inning marathon games, I think you go to the ghost runner in the 12th and beyond. But don't give me that shit like right off the bat. I think it kills the game in my opinion. But you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That's just the whole point. And I still think they should add a couple more teams. So yeah. Angels have no discipline. They need to bring up the rookies, Rada, Paris, Lugo, and whoever else. Let's try something different with the lineup. Throw the analytics out the window. Smash a like and share. Appreciate that. Miguel says, I've been watching nearly every game this series here. Just made me want to decompress and not watch this team for a while. I'll be tuning in tomorrow. Miguel, you're just like me. You're a glutton for punishment. The Puck Watcher says, smoking that Angels pack right now. Sure are. Blue Jays are luck merchants. They sure are, dude. They really lucked out in this series. Also, the D on this team is so shitty. The team needs like 5 DH spots available. You ain't lying. Minkata, Renifo, Soler, Taylor Ward. There's 4 right there, plus Trout. Puck Watcher says the Jays are just a cut above the mid LA Angels right now. And they are. Look, I'm not saying that this team is wonderful or nothing like that, but they competed big time. Josh says the Jays won 2 extra innings games and a third by 1 run. I guess this is a Blue Jay fan, but it says the Jays won 3 and the Angels lost 3. Enough said. Okay. Also should consider trading Trout, letting him win something. That's a tired comment. If we could, we would have. And a lot of fans are like, oh no, the Angels want to hold on to him. Not really. I mean, a lot of us love the guy. We want him to win, but if he were to win somewhere else other than the Dodgers, hell yeah. Same thing with Ohtani. We hate him now because he's wearing that blue. But if he were to go to Toronto, if Trout would go to Philly, I would have been number 1 fan for both of them. And we don't even have to get that much back, but he's not producing right now, straight up. Also, Luke says, don't get on the Trout hate. He's second on the team in OPS and OBP. Also, he's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. And for the he's not clutch crowd. Okay, Luke, but listen, I love you, man. But when's the last time he drove in a game-winning RBI or a game-tying RBI? I'll wait. I will wait because I don't remember seeing it recently. And I know he's hit the ball hard. I know he's worked walks, but he's still not coming through when we goddamn need him. Frost says, I feel like Ron was behind the bench this series, wouldn't have been swept. Blue Jays got lucky 3 times and they're celebrating like they won the World Series. Also, Craig says Simo and Taylor both hurt when they were starting to get better. Hurts the team. And that's an underrated comment right there too, because again, Chris Taylor wasn't doing it for the Dodgers. He was starting to find his groove and then he freaking fractures his hand. And then you got freaking Simo, who's putting together good at bats, a fiery spark plug. He's going to start finding that green. And then he gets hurt. So hopefully, again, we're going to get both these guys back right after the break. Blue Jays didn't win. Angels lost, Ambush says. Also, Hoppy needs to be DFA'd. Don't know about that. Jays won every game by 1 run, but they are now elite. Get the fuck out of here. Enjoy, because we all know the Yankees are going to take the Jays out of the playoffs. Frederick says, your rants are excellent critiques of just what ails the Angels. I appreciate that. Also, the Puck Watcher says, why are you dreaming of the Yankees cucking you? Now, he was talking about the Jays getting cucked by the Yankees because it's obvious that the Jays can't get out of that division. And even when they do, they underperform in the postseason, which, look, when the Jays get there, I'm not a hater. I actually root for the Jays. I like seeing new teams get there and beat the legacy teams. So the Jays are one of those teams where I enjoyed watching them beat the Phillies back in the day, and I believe the Braves. Your only 2 World Series. Again, your only 2 World Series. So, again, I liked watching the Jays. I'm not a hater. I don't come on other channels to rip the Jays, if we were to sweep them. But all I'm saying is, like, hey, you got to take care of business when you get to the postseason. I understand the Jays have had a lot of success over the last few years, but you also got to get it done when you're there. So I'd talk more or less when you get to the postseason, or if you could wrap up the division. In all actuality, Puck watchers, you guys should have beat us. You guys should have beat us a lot more, and by a lot more, I should say. But you didn't. And that just goes to show you that our mediocre pitching outdid your good pitching. Our mediocre hitting almost rivaled your good hitting. So that should throw up warning signs. Although you guys play the Chicago White Sox next and the Oakland Athletics, you then take a break and you have to start what's called the second half of the season. And it's not going to get easy for Toronto. So enjoy the win streak right now. Beat up on those shitty teams in front of you. And then we'll talk after the All-Star break on how you do. Because I guarantee you one thing, your franchise doesn't have open pocketbooks like the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. And the Boston Red Sox aren't that far behind either. So if they decide to go all in, and the Yankees will go all in, and the Rays just play sneaky enough to be on your backside, you got teams creeping behind you. I'd worry more about the teams in my division than the lowly-ass Angels who aren't going to make the playoffs. Because we could be talking at the end of the year on September when we're calling a meaningless postgame show, and you actually come in here and say and talk shit about our team, you might not be in the same situation. You might be on the outside looking in or barely in on the wild card. I don't see you guys win that division, but kudos if you do. But man, oh man, I wouldn't worry about the Angels. I'd be damn lucky saying, hey man, good game, butt slap. You guys gave us all you could and you fell short and we're lucky to win the series. That would have been a better comment in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. Humble yourself now before you get humbled later. That's all I'm going to say. Mic drop on that one, baby. Let's see. Also, Saucy right here checking in with B, the one to reach out. B, that's someone. That comes from a commercial right there. Don't stress too much about the Angels, bruh. You should be hoping they go on a losing streak and sell. Problem is, we don't get that rule anymore where we can pick up that number one, what do you call it? Number one pick anymore. Or top 3 or top 5. They made a rule change there. The Puck Watchers also says mid-team in a mid-country. What else is new? Not to go political, my friend, but we were about to call you the 51st state. Michael Jr. says package Warden Renifo for anyone. I'm right there. Eddie also says we lose every week. We lose every week. We nothing special. We lose every week. Also balls and falling for it. Michael also says, don't know why we can't get this coaching staff right. This team should be better than they are. And that's preach right there all the way. Rangers are throwing DeGrom in game 1, game over. I don't know about that. Also, Dan Rio says, since Ohapi is technically left-handed, maybe try batting left-handed as well. Just saying. Eddie also says, is it time to make some trades? Yes, it is. It is so time. Also, preseason football starts next month. Even the Jets are excited for the next couple weeks. But we can also, Robert says, giving Todd tequila next homestand, going to convince him to run on the field. Don't, man. Then you'd have to bail me out. Also, I said gargle, not drink. You must have substitute teachers. Vote for Bond says not even Gavin's ED and AD will cheer me up. It's worth a shot, though. Well, let's do it since we haven't did it yet.
You guys are crazy. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson. Don't get it twisted. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. It's hard. It's hard. Oh, man, it feels great. Oh, yummy. Oh, how about a yummy? Oh, come on. Magic. Oh, my goodness. Guys, tasting nut.
Janice says, do you remember when Darren Sutton was one of the team announcers? Yes, I do. RIP to him. Anthony Cortez, can you cue your fat for the heck of it? Sure, why not? Let's go down here.
This fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out. Calm down, okay? All right? He's fat.
Also, Dan Rio says Kikuchi is your 2025 All-Star. Mario said, Todd, Steve Elise is calling babe dinner. Also, Michael says, I would move Trout to the 6th spot. I would too. Next Friday is another Apple TV game. Q. Oh, shit. Yep. I never like Apple TV games. We have the worst performances on Apple TV.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yep. Also, Josh says Julio Rodriguez made it over Odell despite an OPS of 150 points lower. Again, he's not going to get the call, dude. He's not going to get the call, and that sucks. Adam Silver, that's who I was thinking about. Also, I was a teacher's professional nightmare. I would. Robert says, Professor. Josh says, I got fired. The Angels got swept. My girl canceled on me twice, and J-Rod made it over Dell. Damn, Josh. He says, F. Hey, swing away, my man. Swing away. Robert says, at Darius, I was a teacher's nightmare, and even worse in college. I would just stare down the teachers as they lectured, wouldn't take a note down, but I have multiple degrees. Jeez. Also, Trout is in his pool holes era now. Damn it, without the plantar fasciitis. Also, Daniel says Oral Hershiser is so annoying. The rest of the Dodgers announcers, he said the Astros are cheating because they're killing their pitching. Said, I don't want to open up an old wound, but they are cheating. Yeah, he's a loser. Michael says Hop is still young and is going to get better. Cut him some slack. I hope so too, man, but he just looks lost out there. And then we have an incompetent staff not willing to help him. Eric says, preach on, Brother Todd. Do you see the light? I see the light. There you go. Some positivity. Toronto fans, especially in hockey, are delusional. Just look at the Leafs, thinking that the Dallas Cowboys of hockey. Todd is cooking this guy. Also, the puck guy should stick to hockey. That's the main sport in Toronto, despite the Blue Jay fan loyalty. Grillmaster says Gavin loves these nuts. He sure does. Calm down, Gavin. Jeez. That is one guy who loves his nuts.
These nuts. Got him. Got him.
Darren Sutton and Mario and Pemba. Yes, Dimitro. Love that combination. Also, last time the D-backs were at Angel Stadium, it was the weekend series, and game one was on Apple TV. Someone get Josh a beer from Bruheim. Abso-freaking-lutely. Also, Rob did you stare at the teachers because one of them had good figures. Oh, geez. Boo Bear's mommy said, I actually expected us to lose, but the team we lost to is in first place. Also, I'm not reading those as much as you keep going with it. Botch says, even Trout's homers we lose. When you lose. Also, Grillmaster, a Gavin loyalist. Oh, hobby. Oh, man. What a game. What a series. Oh, frustrating series. I went into a long rant. Even had a Toronto fan on here. I don't know if he was around when I just gave him a new one right there. So, I'm just hoping for a better series, better homestand. You definitely got to do what Sochi used to say, which is turn the page. You got to do all those stupid cliches that say, okay, it's time to hit the reset button, all that. But the problem I have with that is they won't. So you might say on individual performances, let's hit the reset button. Let's turn the page. But I think as a team, you need to turn the page and hit the reset button on what's being preached and the game tactics and stuff like that and the analytics, because otherwise you're just going to go into it with the same kind of mindset, the same kind of approach at the plate. And again, I would love for this team to get on a run to where, like, I would love to see their record. If they were to score 5 runs or more, 6 games out of the 7 days that they would play during the week, because I guarantee you they would be something like 5-1, no less than 5-1. I have the faith in this team as far as pitching on the back end and also in the rotation to keep the games close. Billy from X says, RJ complete one hitter yesterday. Do we get our hopes up? I don't know. I still think I need to see more from the hitting before I start worrying about the pitching. I may be a bit in the minority about this, but I just want to see some small ball because I know they could generate runs. I really do think they can. Don't worry, the season starts pretty soon. Okay. Roger's checking in with, listen, the season starts tonight.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Oh, Hoppy Slam says, I'd rather take the roids. At least he would be trying a little bit better. And he was just saying, Hoppy Slam says that was in high A. Ryan Johnson right now is pitching better. They've stretched him out to be a starter, but the quickest we can give him up is, or get him up here, is probably August or September. I would say September. So by then it's way out of it. Also, Luke said these Jays fans are whack. Go back to Tim Hortons or something. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. This one, this series, I don't think I remember a series this frustrating in a while, at least. It did give me a lot of gas. It's tough, man, because, again, after this, you want to tell Johnny Washington,
You're fired! What?
Yep. Because you have to play to win the game. You have to be doing everything you possibly can to win the game.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
And we knew who Toronto was before the series and at the end, and we let them off the hook.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
And O'Hoppy's got to get his shit together.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you got to take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just got to get it together. Get your shit together.
And you can't be slow out there because otherwise you'd be considered fat.
This fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out. Calm down, okay? All right? He's fat!
Grillmaster says, what does the Statue of Liberty stand for? Because, like Gavin, she can't sit down. Jeez. Botch says, hey, Todd, do you think the season is too long, 162? No. It's always been baseball. That's always how they've played. But you got to execute. This team is not good at executing whatsoever. Let NBA and NFL, NHL worry about that. I don't think the season is too long. I just think that we need to get our shit together, dude. Again, if you execute, these games are very much they're winnable when you don't execute. So that should tell you something. So if this team were to execute, this team would be in a much better spot. But Grill only knows that because he's been in Gavin's room. James says should have swept the series. Absolutely. Well, with that being said, I appreciate everybody hanging with us tonight. James says win 7 straight before the All-Star break. Yeah, we got 4 with freaking Texas and 3 with Arizona before we hit the break. And right now, I'm just not as enthused or excited like I was before the series because I felt, again, we should have beaten Toronto 2 out of 3. And then you're coming home a game over 500. And maybe if you can get to the break 2 to 3 games over 500, I'm good with that. I'm feeling good. I'm looking at the standings. We're likely in that 2 to 3 games out kind of look. And then we could get, we can start to make up our mind what we're going to do. But the only positive for you guys and myself that feel that this team should sell off the vets, whether they do so is up to them or not. But I feel that if the Angels are sitting 6 or 7 out, which they probably could be if they have a bad homestand, then it is by far time. I mean, you're spending your time on the All-Star break calling up other general managers and trying to sweeten the deal, trying to scout other teams and be like, okay, what can we get for Taylor Ward? Like what can we get for Louis Renifo? What can Jansen flip us? How much of the salary will we have to pay, or can they get the rest of his salary and rent him for the rest of the year? Continue to do that. And that way, you're not fooling yourself. You're not saying, oh, we can addition by subtraction, because that stuff isn't going to work. It's just not going to work. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody coming on here. And we had a lot of comments both on TikTok and both on X and YouTube. I think we need a break right now, Carlos said. And, you know, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to get in and spend some time with the fam. And we'll be back here tomorrow. But first off, actually, we'll be at the stadium on Monday. So if you want to come by and say hi, we'll be in 260. Come tap me on the back. I'm at the top of rows 260, right next to the goddamn cameraman. So wherever that camera booth is, on the right side of him, I'm right there in 260. Come by and say hi. And we'll chat some baseball. We'll talk it up. And yeah. And if you have suggestions for the show, let me know. We're always looking to get better. And the show is brought to you in part by 714 Tickets. You can get 10% off by just going into the Apply Now code. Put HITI there. You get that. Bruheim, you get discounts. OC Dugout as well. Max Market Pros, if you need help with your website or anything else, go to maxmarketpros.com. They will help you out. Tell them Todd Fox sent you. And by the way, forgot to say our little jingle. It's by the fans, for the fans, for the fans, by the fans. We're in the stands with you. We're not like the fake ass, whack ass other podcasts that don't hang out with you, that don't know baseball, have never played, and are phonies in general. So, and I'm not talking about, I will exclude a couple of them. I will exclude Angels Central because I know them. I'm good buddies with them. They've played baseball, and Talking Halos is legit good guys that love Angels baseball and are very unbiased. So if you like listening to our stuff, give them a listen too. They're pretty cool as well, Talking Halos. But as far as those other geeks, don't go there, man. You're just boring yourself. You might as well listen to Nails on a Chalkboard or watch Paint Dry. I think that's more exciting because they don't give you much more than the little that AM 830 gives you. So with that being said, everyone have a good rest of your Sunday. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being the best part of our network. Have a good Sunday and go Angels with a question mark.